What's going on, my fellow freelancers and gamers out there? Your dude Sly here, back at it with my first impressions of Anthem so far. So before we jump into my honest feelings about the game, I wanted to first say that this is the first time I've been able to fully sit down and play the game without pause from start to finish. Now, I was given the chance to play the full game in San Francisco, but it was an older build with quite a few bugs, and we only had a handful of hours to play it. While it was a complete version, it didn't give us a complete picture because there was it was cut up in multiple parts. We then jumped forward from the start of the game to about level 10, a few hours of that, and then we finally jumped forward to level 30 gameplay. So it was a lot of stuff to take in just a few days. And on top of that, it was all segmented, so it was kind of hard to get a full picture from just playing segments of the game. But now that the game is out completely with all the systems in place, here are my thoughts so far. The gameplay, guys, still loads of fun. Flying is the best it has ever felt in any video game where you can fly in an open world, hands down. Of course, this is my opinion. Abilities, still crisp, as are most of the weapons with all of their different varieties. On PC, flying and swimming especially have been overhauled a lot. I mean, it feels so much better than it did in the alpha or even the demos. So if that was one of your concerns, let that melt away, because flying and swimming feels great on mouse and keyboard. Now, one thing I've started really appreciating here is the attention to character detail. Voice acting, facial movements, body language. You can really tell that Bioware spent a ton of time honing and polishing the characters of Anthem, especially Owen. Now, even though I don't think Mass Effect Andromeda was as big of a disaster as everyone made it out to be, I think it gave Bioware a facial complex because they look really, really good, and you can tell they spent a lot of time on them. Now, besides the first 5 minutes, when everyone was trying to get on, servers have been really stable. No connection issues, at least for myself, and I've only had one instance of rubber banding, but it was only like a second or two long. Hasn't happened again, not really even worth mentioning. As far as flying within the open world, I'm still amazed of how you see very little texture popping while flying around such a massive open space. And the further I get out into free play, the more eye-popping the views become. Now, so far, what I've played of the story, it's fairly good. The juicy parts are still yet to come, but it has enough humor, yet that gets toned down when you see the monitor, kill someone point blank. So it's a really good mix of the two, and so far it has me fairly intrigued. Oh, and in case you missed it, guys, there was a small update yesterday that introduced running inside Fort Tarsus. It's a small, but a very welcome addition. However, guys, it is not all sunshine and bunnies. Bioware was absolutely correct when they said that this game was meant to be played with friends, but just because they said friends, that doesn't mean matchmaking is what they had in mind. So far, I found it much, much more enjoyable to go in by yourself and set everything to private than to go in matchmaking. Going in with a group of 4, as in 4 of like friends who you game with all the time they can talk to, that is the best way to experience Anthem, and it is still a total blast. But matchmaking, at least so far what I've seen, has ruined the experience like 9 out of 10 times. First, you can join a mission that is already in progress and miss out on parts of the narrative. Now, whoever thought that was a good idea in a brand new game is beyond me. Also, teleporting. Now, I put this in some of my feedback to Bioware back in San Francisco that the teleporting mechanic was too restrictive, and so far I've seen no improvement with that. Getting pulled forward is very annoying, especially when you're not even really that far behind him. I mean, there's been times where I'm literally flying behind somebody, I can see them right in front of me, yet I have the teleporting thing down the bottom of my screen. I don't know what's up with that, but that is something that needs to be relaxed a little bit. Getting pulled forward is very annoying, guys. With Anthem's massive open world and beautiful skyboxes, loading screens are also an issue. Now, if you have the game on like an M.2 NVMe SSD drive, then it's not so bad. You can deal with it. However, I've seen my sister play on an older computer with an HDD, and it's unbelievably long. I mean, it's like minutes. So it kind of kills the excitement that you're building up to only have to go into a loading screen. So, put this all into perspective. You matchmake into a mission that's already in progress, you miss out on parts of the story. Then, as soon as you've waited to load in, your team is way out in front of you, and then they pull you forward because you can't catch up, yet another loading screen, and then that means you miss out on more of the story. That definitely needs to be fixed. Now, as far as the story itself, I'm still excited about the story, guys, but it takes you a while to kind of find out, the path that the campaign is actually on. There are all these agents and people to talk to, but none of them tell you that, hey, this is the critical path or main story path, or that these certain agent missions will help you complete the overarching story. I mean, these things should have been either labeled a little better or slowly added in over time throughout, the campaign, and not just dumped to you all at once. And moving on here, guys, the final bit of criticism I have is due to upgrading the faction. Similarly to the campaign or critical path, it doesn't really inform the player of which actions could be taken to upgrade everything. I mean, it shows you what will happen when you do reach a certain level, and of course doing contracts increases faction level depending on the agent you're talking to, but what else can increase Sentinel standing or Freelancer standing? It's buried a little too deep, and it would be nice to just simply head over to a faction board, click on it, see all of the challenges you could do, all the people you could talk to or help to increase your faction standing. Like going out into the free world and doing these kind of missions will increase freelancers. Doing this will help increase, sentinels. If you go out and collect this specific resource, bring it back to this person, this will help you increase these people. Stuff like that. Something you can get to easily, see what you need to do it, and then come back to help you upgrade it. All of this in one easy to access place would have made, the world of difference. Now, you do start to see improvements to Fort Tarsus, and while it looks good and it makes it a nicer place to come home to, unless you really look hard, you don't really know why these things are upgrading or what you did to upgrade them, just that they're happening. So pretty much all of my criticism so far clumps into the category of unorganized. However, even with that, I am still having fun here, and that's what matters. In the end, it's a video game, and it's meant to be played with friends, and that is when Anthem shines brightest. Most of the things I mentioned all boil down to quality of life issues, which can always be changed fairly easily, and I have a feeling that they will be upgraded rather soon. Now, so far, I've reached level 15. I'm at the halfway point, and I've been seeing quite a few, what do you think so far of the game type of questions. So with that, I wanted to put this out and let everyone know to take your time with it. If you go in there, start rushing in, talking to everyone, clicking on all the missions, you can get a bit lost on what you need to do in order to continue the story. So make sure you take your time and find out which path you're taking. However, like I said, most of these worries float away in the heat of combat because it still feels great to play, and I still catch myself stopping, at random parts of the map just to admire skyboxes and the views. So as we get to the end here, guys, moving forward, I do hope new mechanics start getting introduced here rather soon. I know strongholds start becoming more focused on mechanics, but campaign, I think it needs a little more variety than just finding Arcanist sigils or picking up pieces of relics or standing in a green circle. While I ultimately don't mind it, it is starting to get a little played out at this point. But like I said, I'm only halfway through. I still have a lot of story left to do. And once that's complete, we will start picking up the end game. Once all of it's finished, I'll put out my final review of Anthem. So do not take this here as any kind of, official review or negative critique. So far, the gameplay far outweighs these problems. However, if you are a solo player, then your experience might differ from mine, especially if you went into matchmaking and you just keep getting pulled forward all the time or popping into half-finished missions. That really puts a damper on things. So if I were you, I would do something on private or try to find some friends off of LFG. But that is about it, guys. Just a quick heads up on my experience so far. Now, I'll be streaming every night on YouTube and Twitch. I did have some streaming issues yesterday as my dual cast wasn't really dual casting. It was either going to be Twitch or YouTube, even though I thought both were happening at the same time. However, I think I figured out the problem, and we are going to be good to go. So I hope you join me one of these nights. If you're going dark and waiting for the full release on the 22nd, nothing else, just pop in, say hi, and then peace back out. But speaking of peacing out, have a fantastic time playing, my friends, and if you're waiting on the 22nd, start getting your squad ready, because I promise you that you will have a much, much better experience going in with a squad of 4 than going into matchmaking. Take care, freelancers, and thank you for watching. If you're new to Sly Nation, then welcome, compadre. Subscribe for lots more Anthem, Division 2, and Destiny 2 videos. Spank the thumbs up, but only if you enjoyed yourself, and if you've been playing Anthem, let me know what your thoughts are down below. Check me out on Twitter or Facebook at Sly Nation or Sly Nation Gaming on the FB. Later, Lancers, and keep a lookout for more vids coming out soon, but until then, this is your dude Sly, and I'll catch you all next time.